from our sponsors as well. Hey, it's time for Horace Cooper, national recognized legal commentator and adjunct fellow with the National Center for Public Policy Research, co-chair of the Project 21 National Advisory Board. Mr. Horace, how are we doing, buddy?
Good morning. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing terrific. Thank you so much, as always. Great to have your sober perspective on this, and boy, do we need it in these contentious times. As I was drawing reference to, it seemed like Nancy Pelosi the other night was really having a hard time. She misspoke and referred to Martin Luther King as Martin Luther Singh. She was repeating sentences. She misidentified Governor Kasich as the governor of Illinois. Of course, we know Ohio, and then you got Maxine Waters saying that, that every cabinet choice that Donald Trump has made, they're all scumbags.
Yeah, so this is what is of interest to me watching this, is how the media chooses to accentuate these events. The truth is, the more public presentations anyone makes, the more instances that they will have of misspeaking. Mm-hmm. Interestingly, however, when the President of the United States, who gets more attention reviewing his comments than any other person in America, happens to say something in a way that isn't precise and clear, instead of acknowledging, people misspeak, they make a statement. There was an attack in Sweden on Friday?
Right.
We don't know anything about this. It is interesting to me how unwilling the media may be to allow for some space for people to speak. When the president spoke, he clearly was attempting to convey that he recently had become aware that there were problems with the integration of the Muslim immigrant community in Sweden. However, as circumstance would occur, suddenly a riot breaks out after the former prime minister, after America's former ambassador, after the mainstream media had reported there are no problems. It's sweetness and light. Suddenly, you don't hear a correction. You don't hear he may have just simply misspoke. When the media does this, they do a disservice. So if they're going to hold the president accountable in this way, then I want to hear them talk to Maxine Waters. I want to hear them talk to the former House Speaker, now Minority Leader, Nancy Pelosi. I want them to call them out every time they make a statement, because the game is anything you say, that's exactly what you meant. That's exactly what you intended. Fair.
Right. And but we know politics is not fair. And even though the president exposed them big time with a 70-minute harangue, most of them just, they took the hit and went back and, all connoitered together with within their echo chambers and said, we're really not that bad. And, let's get over it and move forward, not learn anything from it. But I think in both cases, there's value there for the media to learn. And this is what most of flyover Main Street America, the forgotten citizens of this country, are saying to the media: do your job, be objective, document history. We need your resources to hold the government accountable. And Mr. President, I understand. Look at you're, this is a bit of a new game for you, but you can't be fast and loose with the facts either. And you got to, tighten up your conversation a little bit. Make sure that if you're putting out facts, it's not after you get called on it. You go, well, that's what it's what some guy told me. You can't. You got to be a little bit tighter than that, right?
That's exactly right. During the campaign, we got a chance to see through the WikiLeaks process what the mainstream media's approach would be when information is presented. And in the case of the acting chairman of the DNC having apparently collaborated to prefer one party, one candidate for nomination in the DNC over another, they told us it was more important to ask, how was this information ascertained? In the case where one of that same individual was paid contributor and used her access as a way to advantage one candidate over another. No one said, when is the FBI going to investigate whether any laws were broken? It was simply the case that it was unfair that this information had been accessed.
Right.
Now, what is clearly unlawful, information that is privileged because it is secret, was released. And now what we can't focus on is whether or not that was appropriate and whether an investigation will occur as to who did this leaking. No. Now it's the substance of what was going on.
Right.
We have watched over the last 8 years a media that claimed that it was operating within the contours of the First Amendment and refused to play its role. It allowed the government to target people by the IRS because of their political views, and it gave it almost no attention.
Exactly.
It allowed candidates for president and in the Congress to foist a healthcare takeover with almost no scrutiny.
Yeah.
Today, it now wants to say, oh, no, we hold people accountable. It wouldn't surprise me that an administration recognizes the American people can't trust the existing mainstream media to act as its watchdog. Someone else or some other entity is going to have to take on that role.
Well, this is why you have the rise of guys like, James O'Keefe. Interesting exposure on CNN that you're going to be hearing more about in just a moment, and guys like David Daleiden, which we'll talk about with Horace after this. Stay with us.
Hi there, Dick Allgeier here. I was a mainstream television news reporter for over 3 decades. I normally never do commercial endorsements. I am very skeptical of health supplements. But a friend of mine told me about his experience with Synergy One, so I purchased a bottle, and my wife and I have been using it for a few weeks now. I very much dislike so-called energy boosters, those little energy drinks that have caffeine and guarana and other things that make your heart race. This is not that. My experience with Synergy One has been great. My mood is better, my joints feel better, I have more vigor, more stamina, way increased productivity. My wife and I both noticed that we even dream more. So I recommend Synergy One. It's really good stuff. I'm having great results with it.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldway.com. That's oneworld.com.
Attention investors, 2017 is the year of Trump, and financial markets are rising at all-time highs. But economic uncertainty may be greater than after any election in our lifetime. And as retirement approaches, there's little time to recover your losses. You need to hedge against uncertainty. That means transferring part of your retirement to physical gold and silver stored where you can actually hold it in your hand and get it fast in any disaster. It's a perfect time to buy. Prices are low and expected to climb. Make Augusta Precious Metals your personal gold and silver provider. Augusta cares for your financial position and helps you make good decisions. And they're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Get Augusta's free gold and silver IRA guide. What you learned could help you weather any economic storm. There's no obligation. Just call toll-free. Call 855-222-5857. That's 855-222-5857. Again, 855-222-5857. Trust Augusta. Protect your retirement today.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-340-5528. That's 800-340-5528. Again, 800-340-5528.
Did you know there's a new group of water contaminants with unknown health effects? These emerging contaminants lurking in your water may include prescription over-the-counter drugs and new types of herbicides and pesticides. ProPure's improved Pro 1G 2.0 filter meets NSF 401 standards to help reduce these emerging contaminants. To find out more, visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's PROPURUSA.com.
For more information and the interviews you love, go to BillMartinezLive.com.
Welcome back, America. It is Bill Martinez here, coming at you fresh every day, Monday through Friday, 9 to noon Eastern, 6 to 9 Pacific, on this 280-plus nationally syndicated network here for you and around the world via shortwave. Thank you for joining us as we continue to present the experts, people that give you the facts, okay? Give you the facts, Jack, so you know what you're talking about and don't sound like a knucklehead here, and also, spur you on to look into it a little bit deeper. To Horace Cooper's point earlier about these individual journalists who've been going out and exposing, wrongdoing. I mean, look what happened to David DeLayden. I'm sure his name comes to mind very quickly. He exposes Planned Parenthood. What they were doing was obviously illegal. Nothing happens to them. That gets brushed on. He ends up in jail. Horace Cooper, what's wrong with this deal?
Yeah, this is remarkable. It is a really significant double standard. Dateline went into a grocery store, brought their own tainted material, meat, placed it in the grocery area for display, and then videotaped someone picking up the tainted meat to suggest that there were standards by that particular grocery store chain. It happened to be Food Line, but it doesn't matter. And nothing was done. That's clearly trespass, and it could be attempted assault.
Exactly.
Nothing's done. General Motors, NBC, once again, fakes a explosion and a mishap with one of GM's vehicles again and presents it to the American public, scaring people, lowering stock share values, causing people to complain, not want to buy the particular vehicle. Again, nothing happened. You have an individual showing the brutality of Planned Parenthood, that they pretend that they're interested in assisting poor people with STD prevention activities, but are in fact engaging in a multi-million, perhaps a multi-billion-dollar enterprise focused solely on the exchange of human body parts that they facilitate the acquisition of, instead of becoming concerned about what they're doing. It's important to actually ascertain on what basis did the individual get this information. What a double standard.
Exactly.
The double standard is what is causing the mainstream media to forfeit their status as the watchdog for the American people.
And deservedly so. I mean, people will know you by your fruit, by your effort, and it's obvious. The mainstream media continues to lose influence and followers, readers, and that because they're failing on two critical points. I say repeatedly, they need to document history, number one. That's their reason du jour, and hold power accountable. And what they're doing is they've abandoned those for a third option, which is their own personal agenda.
Yeah. See, our founders were concerned about this premise, and that's what our First Amendment helps to capture and protect. King George, the Crown, if there was negative communications made, typically they were using the printer, if these negative communications were made, they could be personally subjected to arrest. Our founders said, no, nothing about government is going to be so sacrosanct that we're going to not allow criticism of. Right. What our founders didn't say was that we're going to let partisans get the right. Partisans get the right to be protected by the First Amendment for their activity. And that is what is happening over the last 8 years. Partisans, if we like ideologically what you're doing, we will be silent about the criticism. If we don't like what you're doing ideologically, we will be hyper vigilant. That is not protected activity, and it's no wonder that the New York Times is in a death spiral. It's no wonder that CNN, when I was a kid, was the gold star for news. It's not even a close second place.
Well, Horace, you talk about you mentioned CNN really quickly. Let me interrupt you here for just a moment. You've got some videos from James O'Keefe coming out that are in the control room of CNN, and you get to hear behind the scenes and see exposed big time their worldview and how, even as Michael Brzezinski got herself in trouble, of course, another network, MSNBC, who believes that their job is to tell people how and what they should think.
Yeah. You've got an opportunity here to see with your own eyes what you've surmised has been going on. Mm. Just like with Donna Brazile, when you see the emails, you get a chance to see with your own eyes what is going on. Yeah. For far too long, behind the scenes, things were happening that we could surmise. Election night, there were moments that have now been captured on YouTube where supposedly neutral and dispassionate commentators, they moaned, they cried, they sighed in ways that demonstrated that they were not capable of presenting the information to the American people.
No, they lost all objectivity.
But that they were, in fact, partisan.
Without a doubt. Well, real quick, Horace, we've got about 3 minutes left. I do want to get a Gorsuch update from you. Where are we with Judge Gorsuch?
Well, I had indicated to you early on that I was very confident that Judge Gorsuch would receive a substantial level of support in the Senate. I am less confident of that now, not because of any aspect about the judge, but in fact, precisely because the rancor that I am seeing when it comes to the appointment of the cabinet members of President Trump are demonstrating to me that the minority party simply cannot operate in a collegial and appropriate fashion. Mm-hmm. We are rapidly moving to a place where the only way anyone gets confirmed is if they are a member of the same party and they have a majority in the United States Senate. That was never supposed to be the operation. Democrats will rue this decision that they are making, that they are saying, we're not going to judge competence, we're not going to judge skill, we're not going to judge experience. We're specifically going to say, if our party's executive did not nominate you, we will not vote for you.
That's really what it comes down to. Yeah, exactly.
We are in a really bad situation.
Trump's revised executive order, they thought maybe today, Friday, maybe even now, next week, comes out. What do you see here?
Well, quickly, I was most interested in the decision by one of the Ninth Circuit Court judges to move sua sponte, or on his own behalf, request an en banc hearing of this. Mm-hmm. You almost never hear one of the judges on the court ask for this. You often hear parties to this. And the reason I was interested in that is at least one judge believes that this decision, that the stay that was upheld, was so divergent, so radical, so lawless, that he hoped an en banc team of judges on the Ninth Circuit would overturn it. I don't predict that if that had gone forward, that would occur, but what I do predict is that there would have been a biting, stinging dissent that would have mocked this decision and would have made it very difficult for the full Supreme Court to ever uphold it.
Horace, there's arguments that, and you would know, that have been battered about, saying that the judges really never gave a judgment on the essentials of the executive order, did they?
Well, they didn't give a ruling on the essentials because they were so busy doing something that we've never heard of before, allowing third parties to bring a case before a judge to have it adjudicated when the third parties themselves are not injured parties. That's not the way our court system is supposed to operate, and that was one of the biggest acts of lawlessness.
And, of course, this opens up the controversy all the more. Horace Cooper, thank you so much for being with us, as always, nationally recognized legal commentator on Bill Martinez Live.